Hello friends, welcome to SETI Botany classes. Today we'll study about tissues. Tissues are basically tissues are made up of cell. A single cell having cell wall. Inner to cell wall is present cytoplasm. Nucleus and cytoplasm. Now, these cells, which are similar, will form a group and will cooperate with one another to perform a similar set of functions. So these cells will form tissues. This is a group of cells which are going to perform similar kind of functions. So these tissues will also form tissue systems. Single cell will group and form tissues. Now tissues will form tissue system. Now this tissue system will perform again same general function regardless of its position. Which part of the plant it is present, this will perform the same function and this will form the tissue system. Now, tissue systems are of various types. First we'll discuss about meristematic tissues. These are the tissues which have capacity to divide and redivide. Now the single cell will undergo divisions. And will continuously divide. Meristematic cell is bounded by again a thin wall made up of cellulose, nucleus, cytoplasm, it may have tiny vacuoles in it. These are tiny vacuoles. Plastids are in the form of proplastids. So these cells have capacity to divide and redivide. So depending upon the position of the meristematic tissues, they can be categorized into three categories: apical, intercalary, and lateral meristems. If they are present at the tip of the shoot, this is called as shoot apical meristem. Present at the tip of the root, this will be called as root apical meristem. And if it is intercalated between permanent tissue, if it is stem having nodes, and this is internode, and if meristematic tissue may be present above the node, this may be present below the node. So this is called as intercalary meristem, intercalated between the permanent tissue. Similarly, if in a shoot system, meristem is positioned like this in a lateral way, this will help in isodiametric growth, or we can say this helps in secondary growth, vascular cambium, core cambium. These are lateral meristems. Helping in secondary growth of the plant. Primary growth leads to elongation, and secondary growth helps in isodiametric growth. Now these meristematic tissues, when they divide, they will form different kind of tissues. Then they will undergo differentiation, and after going differentiation, they will form permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are formed after a process called as differentiation. So these are derived from meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues have capacity to divide and redivide. So they will help in multiplication of the cells. Then they will undergo differentiation. Then they will get converted to permanent tissues. Now permanent tissues basically are made up of mature cells. Now, after assuming complete growth, they will get differentiated and will get converted into permanent tissues called as mature cells, now which will have definite shape, size, structure, and function. Now, permanent tissues are of two types: simple and complex. Simple permanent tissues, they are made up of one kind of cells. Complex permanent tissues, they will be made up of more than one kind of cells. Now, simple tissues, they are of three types: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Complex permanent tissues, they are of two types: xylem and phloem. Now, simple tissues, because they are made up of one kind of cells, they will form a uniform tissue system, and this will perform a common function. They will have similar function. Like all parenchymatous cells will perform same function, collenchymatous will perform same function, sclerenchymatous will perform same function, and they are made up of one kind of cell. So in this, we will first discuss parenchyma cells. Parenchyma cells are thin-walled cells. Cell wall is made up of cellulose. The shape of the parenchyma cells can be oval, it can be rounded, it can be polygonal. How we can draw parenchyma cells? Now this is oval shape of parenchyma cells. Parenchyma cells are thin-walled. Now this is oval shape of parenchyma cells. Now this is enclosing the intercellular spaces. They can be rounded in shape. Now this is the rounded shape of parenchyma cells. Now this space in between the cell is called as intercellular space. So this is oval shape. This is rounded shape. Now they may be compactly arranged, showing polygonal shape like this. So this is polygonal shape. While drawing parenchyma cells, we have to take certain precautions, like we cannot make the cells like this. This is a wrong diagram. This is a correct diagram. Again, this is a wrong diagram. Wrong diagram. So we have to make in this way proper shape of the cells, oval, rounded and polygonal shape. Now parenchyma cells, further, in which part of the plant they are present, they may be carrying different kind of functions, they may be carrying different kind of structures. So we'll discuss different kinds of parenchyma cells. First, parenchymatous tissue. Parenchymatous tissue is basically present in aquatic plants. Aquatic plants are the plants which grow in water. Now, parenchymatous tissue, if we draw parenchyma, this will enclose air spaces. First, we'll make the outline of parenchyma, then we will draw the parenchyma cells. We can make the parenchyma cells. This is the parenchyma tissue, which is also enclosing large number of air spaces. Parenchyma cells help the aquatic plant, providing buoyancy. If the plants they are found in water and they are submerged in water, this will make the plants light. And they can even get submerged in water, they can float in water. This is because of parenchymatous tissue. So this is parenchyma, air spaces. Again, cells are parenchymatous in nature. Second category is palisade tissue, present in leaves or wherever in the plant tissue is green. So palisade tissue, this will make parenchymatous tissue. Now if we see the structure of leaves, now in the leaves, this is upper epidermis, this is lower epidermis. Now in between here, now this is the palisade tissue, which are elongated structures, and these cells they are rich in chloroplasts. Now these dotted represents the chloroplast. And then this is spongy tissue. Again, this is part of the parenchymatous tissue, enclosing air spaces also, helping in gaseous exchange during photosynthesis. Because this is green in color, having chloroplasts, so this tissue will help in photosynthesis. All the cells will be having the chloroplast. So this is palisade, this is spongy parenchyma, because of chloroplasts, parenchymatous tissue will help in photosynthesis. And due to this chlorophyll, plants they will be autotrophic mode of nourishment, and they can make their own food. Next category is storage parenchyma. Now cells of parenchyma which helps in storage, they are called as storage parenchyma. Now storage can be of water, like in succulent plants. Cells they store water, so water storage parenchyma is there. So this is called as water storage parenchyma. And in some of the parenchymatous cells, food may be stored. Now, food may be in the form of starch grains, sugars, proteins, and oil droplets. Now, usually food is stored inside the seeds in endosperm and pulp of fruit. Cells which help in storage of food, they are called as storage parenchymatous tissue. So they help in storage of the food for the plant, and whenever the food will be required, this will be given by the parenchymatous cells to the other cells. Now, parenchyma may also help in formation of pericycle. What is pericycle? Whenever we cut the section or study the anatomy of stem or root, we'll see that this part is the steel part. That is, steel part is having the vascular tissue. Now this outermost layer is endodermis, which is bounding the xylem and phloem, and inner to this endodermis is a thin layer of parenchyma cells. This is called as pericycle. So parenchyma cells help in formation of pericycle, and cells which are forming pericycle and they are parenchymatous nature, they are also called as parenchymatous, or this is also called as parenchyma. Sometimes parenchyma cells, they may attain the shapes like stars like this. So when they attain the shape of stars, this is called as stellate parenchyma. Now parenchyma will be having radiating arms like in Nilambo water lily, stellate parenchyma is there. Another category is sometimes there are specialized non-green cells which are large in size, and they may store excretory products or secretory products of the plants like tannins, oils and crystals called as idioblasts. Cells which store secretory or excretory products big in size, they are called as idioblasts. Now another category is procambium. Basically procambium is the parenchymatous cells which help in differentiation of the vascular tissue. Now parenchyma may be present, like we said, there is complex permanent tissue, xylem and phloem, which is made up of more than one kind of cells. So in xylem, one of the cell can be xylem parenchyma. Xylem is the vascular tissue which help in transportation of water and minerals. Then second is the phloem. Phloem parenchyma is present in the phloem and help in storage of the food. So xylem parenchyma and phloem parenchyma, whenever they are present in xylem and phloem, they may also help in lateral conduction of water, minerals and nutrients. So this is all about different kind of parenchyma cells. Now what are the functions of parenchyma tissues? Like we have discussed various kinds of cells, so we can discuss their functions, like if parenchymatous tissue, parenchyma, this will provide buoyancy and this will also help in, because this has a lot of air spaces, so this will help in gaseous exchange, help in floating of plant in the water, submerging of plant into the water. Then water storage parenchyma is important in succulent plants for storing of water which grow in dry conditions, and whenever water is available they will store water. Succulent plants like opuntia, which is also called as cactus, aloe vera and other varieties of aloe vera called as succulent plants, so they have water storage parenchyma which help in storing of water in the form of mucilage. Then we said there are certain cells called as idioblasts which store tannins, oil, crystals. They store secretory and excretory product of the plants. Then we discussed about procambium, which help in formation of vascular tissue. Then we discussed about xylem parenchyma and phloem parenchyma, which help in lateral conduction. Xylem parenchyma will store water and minerals. Phloem parenchyma will have food, so they help in lateral conduction of water, minerals, and nutrients. Then parenchyma is also helping in formation of outermost layer of the stem, root, like epidermis in case of stem, epiblema in case of roots. Now, if we see the structure of roots, this is the outermost layer, which is called as epiblema. This may be having root hairs. So when epiblema is having root hairs, so this will help in absorption of water. Function of epiblema and epidermis is also protection of internal tissue. Then we discussed about parenchymatous tissue. Now, parenchymatous tissue, because it has chlorophyll, so this will help in photosynthesis, making of food for the plant. Because of the chlorophyll pigment. Then we discussed about storage tissue. Now, storage cells, they will store food for the plant, like they may store starch grains, oil, and whenever food is required by the plant, this will be provided to the plant. So this is all about structure of parenchyma cells. They can be of different shapes: oval, rounded, polygonal, isodiametric in shape. Then kinds of parenchyma, then functions of parenchyma. If you like my lecture, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.